During a high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10. So I told her, it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO. Hi, I'm Mikey, and this is my Realistic CEO podcast. Welcome to Realistic CEO podcast. I'm Mychal Connolly Jr. This is my first podcast, and I'm with my dad, Mychal Connolly Sr. He's a CEO and the one that inspired me to do this podcast. So, what's up, Dad?
What's up, brother?
All right, so today I'm going to ask you a couple questions to help me become a CEO and help others understand what it takes to become CEO as well. So my first question here is, how do you decide what goals to focus on in your company?
Great question. First of all, I'm proud of you, man. I know you wanted to be a CEO since you learned about the term. I think you might have been about 6 or 7 years old when John and I was creating the 100-gram plan, and you were always fascinated by that. So it's really cool seeing you stick with that. And you're 17 now, so I got to let you know before we start how proud of you I am, and just keep going. And I want you to know every goal, every dream you have can and will come true. And this podcast is a big part of it. I know you got a few really cool local CEOs that already agreed to be on. And I know you have goals interviewing people like Shaquille O'Neal and some heavy hitters nationally and globally. So I can't wait to see that all unfold. And last, before I answer that question, I'm also proud of you of the book that you put together, Realistic CEO, that kickstarted this whole thing. I know you had a deal with the teacher, and he's like, let's make something about it. So it's really cool seeing you go through what you go through. I got to tell you, I'm proud of you. So your question, how do I know what to focus on in business? You know, it goes in waves. So business is ups and downs. So the things that you always have to focus on as a CEO are the things that are going to keep you moving towards your goal. So when I hear CEO, I hear Chief Executive Officer. And when I hear the word executive, I think that's the person in charge of executing. So I think the CEO is the person in charge of executing the plan, keeping everything on track, keeping everything on task, keeping the ship moving in the right direction, like the captain. So to focus on the things that needs to be done in that moment while also keeping the business moving in the direction that you want the business to go in. That's the main goal of the CEO. So whatever task needs to be done in that moment to keep us on track and keep us hitting our goals is what I focus on.
Wow, that was great. I really do appreciate that advice that you just said to me. I know that will help me and a lot of other people that have been wondering what it takes to become a CEO as well. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions here. What do you think is the most important quality for someone my age to develop to become a CEO?
I think someone your age, stick-to-itiveness, great communication skills, time management, understanding how to show up, understanding how to take the things that you do really seriously, understanding how to execute on a high level. I think really great CEOs understand how to execute, not only from themselves, but the team. They understand how to keep everybody on the same page. They understand even when things are rocky, how to make sure everyone moves in the right direction. So communication skills, being able to stick to it, team building skills, and like I said, being able to execute is a whole bunch of little things. I think the cheat code to being a great CEO is understanding what it takes to create a 5-star experience for your clients, for your end users, for your employees, for your vendors, everyone that works with you. If you understand that, being able to create a 5-star experience all along the way and being able to execute at a high level, a lot of the things that you need to become to do that will show up. It's kind of like with basketball. You know, you played a lot of sports. What makes someone a good clutch player? If I flip that and ask you, for someone to be clutch, 0 seconds left on the clock, down 2, you got foul shooting the 3. If you hit these 3 free throws, you win the championship. What does it take to be ready for that moment?
I would say it takes a lot of confidence, practice, and a good team around you to help build your confidence in those moments, whether it's in the backyard working on your game or in practice when you have to run because you missed those 2 free throws. And then, coach is yelling at you because he knows what you can do and you're better than that. And then also when you have your teammates around you knowing that they're confident in your ability as well to take those game-winning shots. So I think that is what helps. That's all I had.
See, and that's the same thing it takes to be a great CEO. There's so many parallels to sports and business. And if you understand that and take all those lessons that you learned in those moments and then be able to use them in other parts of life, then you there. So that's why I think that's a really, really great question. And you'll notice on your journey, more and more CEOs say similar things that way. And I know you wanted to create this podcast to teach other people what it takes to be a CEO too. I think what you're going to find is a lot of young people have a lot of the qualities and characteristics to be great CEOs. They just don't know, especially those that play sports, even if you didn't play sports, but especially the ones that played sports because once again, it's all about execution. So when you understand how to execute the play in the moment, in the chaos, it's easy to make the layup when it's wide open, right? Some people still miss it, but being able to execute in that moment, like I said, down 3 free throws because you got foul shooting the 3 to win the state championship if you hit all 3. So you can't wait for that moment to get prepared. Like the things that you're doing now and learning about it and being able to visualize it and understand different scenarios where you could run these plays, it'll make a big difference.
What would you say are ways that you can learn how to develop those skills without playing sports, like outside of sports? What would you say the best ways to do that?
Same thing. I mean, other team activities. I think one of the best ways to develop those skills is learning about them. Like the beauty of your generation has, you could pick up TikTok, you could pick up YouTube, you could go on Instagram, Facebook. I know you guys don't really do Facebook, but you got the internet and you can start watching these videos and reading. Like I'm always going to be a big proponent to reading because through reading, you can have a conversation with Steve Jobs. You can have a conversation with Walt Disney. You could have a conversation with all the great CEOs that came before you. And then based on their experiences, because they tell you the things that they went through, and you learn, so Walt Disney got rejected all those times. People thought he was a big dreamer. They couldn't see his vision, and he still did it. Okay, when I face that doesn't mean I should quit. That means those people just don't understand, because if Disney went through that, then I could go through it. So that's a big part of it, understanding the history of great CEOs and understand the LBW, long, lonely, born work they did to become great CEOs, and it'll help you develop that muscle, develop that skill. Just like when you watch Kobe hit clutch free throws, or LeBron hit clutch free throws, or Michael hit clutch free throws, or Curry hit a clutch 3. You see it's possible, and then you hear them talk about, no, that wasn't luck in that moment. I shot X amount of shots when no one was watching. I was making 500 shots a day. I was shooting 2,000 shots a day. That's how they prepared for that moment. So if you understand how the great CEOs did what they did, you could start developing those same qualities and those same skills.
How would you say you can apply those skills into your everyday life as a teenager to help get ready for the future?
Well, that's a great question. One of the biggest ways to do it, like I said, is understanding the discipline that it takes. So getting ready to go to school. It's the same thing as getting up and going to your business, right? I think it's a great exercise. I know you got to be at school for 7:30 in the morning. So now, as you move forward, 7:30 should be your benchmark. Okay, I got to be in my office by 7:30. We open at 8. I got to beat everybody there. I'm just used to that. Or when you look at homework, like that's an assignment for you to finish when no one's watching. Are you going to give that 150%, or because no one's watching, you're going to give it 30% and just hand it in? Like being able to work when no one's watching. And then how do you treat your classmates? Do you think because someone doesn't have the things that you have, do you think they're less than you, or do you big them up? Do you help them feel important? Do you build them up? Are you able to build a team of people that you disagree with, but they have great skill sets that you don't have? All of these things, if you have that I want to be a CEO mindset, being a kid, being a youth is a great opportunity to practice, because just like I said, when it's time to hit those free throws in the clutch, you can't wait for that moment to get prepared. You got to be prepared before that.
Okay, so thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. To piggyback off what you said earlier about teamwork, I got one more question about that. Why do you say teamwork is so important in building a business?
Because you can't do everything yourself. Like, if you look at any great company in this country or around the world, there's not one person doing everything. If it's one person doing everything, it's going to be burnout. Imagine if Apple was just one person. It just wouldn't work. So you have to build teams, because ultimately as a CEO, you want to build a business that can function without you, because you want something to last the test of time. Imagine if Ford was just all Henry Ford. The second he passed away, we would have no more Ford cars, or no more, or whatever subsidiary companies they have. They wouldn't exist. So you always want to build teams. Like even with Standout Truck, I have a team. I'm not, everything Standout Truck does is not me. Everything that Marketing and Cupcakes does is not me. Everything the Launch and Standard Agency does is not me. I just listed off 3 businesses that I'm the CEO of, and it's all based on team. I'm obsessed with having people around me that are better than me at things. I want people that are better than me. I don't want someone just as good as me. I want someone better than me, every piece of things, and it's just my job as the CEO to help them feel that they're appreciated, to show them where they fit in, to make sure they maximizing their talents, maximizing their skills. And then we just make amazing things, or like I like to say, create dope stuff and stay sucker free. So we're creating dope stuff for our clients that are going to keep coming back purchasing those things.
Okay, so one more question. What made you start your first business? Like, what was your motivation behind starting your first business?
So the first one was when I was 9. That was accidental. But I think a greater question and a greater answer, I think, to what made me, I'll go with Standout Truck, and what made me want to do that. And I say this a lot. I don't say this to you guys. I don't say this to you. I don't say this to Aiden. But I do it for you guys because I had to work really hard to be able to be in a position where I could do these type things with you, and I could expose you guys to a lot of different things. And I work the way I work, not to take care of you guys because you're good, not to take care, and I know you're 17, shouldn't be thinking about having kids for another 10, 15 years if you're smart. So I don't think about my grandkids. I think about my great-grandkids. So when I look at Sam Walton, when I look at Henry Ford, when I look at guys like Walt Disney and those type people that have these legacies, the Rockefellers, when I look at what they did and how they did it, I work and learn to do this stuff so I could teach you all it so you could understand how it works. And then in turn, it's up to you. And I will never force you guys to ever be a business person. Like if you came home to me and says, Dad, I want to be a regional manager for Walmart. And I'll be like, listen, man, I think you'd be a great regional manager. I want you to be the best at that. I want you guys to be whatever you want to be and just give it your best. But I do what I do to lay a foundation and to be able to teach you all how this thing works on a level. So if you decide you want to get into business, you know how to do it. So you guys are definitely my motivation for it, my inspiration for it. And then also the kids in the community that don't, like, I always say we have a dream environment in our house. We allow you all to dream, be whatever you want to be. We're going to, if I don't, like I said, you say you want to be a regional manager and I don't know nothing about it. All right, let's figure it out. But I also do it for kids that don't have dream environments so they could see how we do what we do and they could get inspired by that and pursue their dreams, pursue their goals. Because I'm a believer that if anybody put their mind to something and they put the work in, they can make it happen. And that's why I like to share and show what that looks like. But it's all about having goals and dreams bigger than me. So thirdly, my biggest dream that I'm working towards is creating my own foundation. So there's Marion Kaufman. He's a guy, he was in pharmaceuticals. He owned the Kansas City Royals, and he started the Kaufman Foundation. And I want a Connolly Foundation one day where people that want to pursue their dreams, it will be a nice fund there for them to have finances to go after their dreams, but also have a system in place to teach them the things they need to do to run sustainable businesses. So I do it for that.
Okay, so you talk about a dream environment. Why is a dream environment so important for the youth?
It's a great question. It's very important because whatever the mind, as Napoleon Hill said this, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So if the mind's not dreaming and can't picture being something, if you can't picture yourself making those 3 free throws, you're not going to make those 3 free throws, right? If you can't picture yourself being a successful streamer, you're not going to be a successful streamer. If you can't picture yourself being a successful CEO, you won't be able to be a successful CEO. Everything starts in the mind, whatever it is that you want to be. Like even something as simple as this. Okay, this podcast is done. Let's drive home, right? If you were driving and you couldn't picture in your mind how to get home, we would never get home. So having a dream environment is so important because it allows people to activate their imagination. All success starts in the imagination. So being able to have these environments is critical. And that's why I got so frustrated with the situation that got us here with the teacher when you said, and if people that listen and that don't know, Mike had a class project where it was all about choosing his career. And he went to the teacher, asking, well, what are you going to be? And he said, well, I'm going to be a CEO. And she said, well, you got to choose something realistic. And he was like, no, that is realistic. I'm going to be a CEO. But once again, you coming from a dream environment is why you defended it. I always tell, when I tell this story, I tell people how you came to the car, because when you guys come from school, we do one good thing. And you came into the car and you were like, hey, Dad, here's what happened today. And you wasn't even complaining. You were just really proud. How I took it, you were really proud of yourself, how you defended your dream. And I thought it was cool. Dream environments is so important, because if in that scenario, if you didn't come from a dream environment and you had this goal of being a CEO, even though it was just a project, and you said that to a teacher or sharing your dream with someone, and they shot that down, you may start feeling inadequate, like you can't pursue that dream.
How would you say for someone that doesn't come from a dream environment to allow them to still face their goal and like those challenges of somebody that has no type of support system to help them get to where they want to? How would you do that?
Great question. You're asking some really good questions, I got to tell you. So that's why the imagination is so important. You got you got to be your biggest dream advocate. You have to believe in yourself. So like at the end of the day, if you say you're going to go become a CEO, and in your heart of hearts, at your core, that's what you're going to do. If you putting that work in, the right work, you're going to become a CEO. It's not like becoming an NBA player. There's so many external factors. You could be putting all the right amount of work in and just never have the right network to tap in to reach the decision makers to say, oh, man, I want him on my team. Or we're going to draft him. Or it might be an unfortunate circumstance where you get an injury. You might have been the next Jordan, but then you got an injury, and then boom, now that's gone. With any other dream or goal you have, the faith is in your hand. So becoming a CEO, that's in your hand. Like, you want to become a CEO, what do?
Study other CEOs and figure out ways that allow me to put myself into a position to where I can learn from other CEOs, as well as studying, like I said just previously.
That's it, right? And then putting that work in, plugging yourself into those situations, or start your own business. Go down to the town hall, city hall, get your business license, or go onto the Secretary of State website and register your business, register your LLC. And then now you make those decisions as a CEO, and then that's part of it. But putting all those things together, that's how you do it. So like for people that don't have dream environments, like I said, man, put the work in. Kudos to you for realizing you don't have a dream environment. Now create that dream environment, because that's what you want to do. And as a youth, use your youth as your secret weapon, because if you go to you could go say this person wants to own their own pizza shop, and they don't come from a dream environment. What should be one of their first moves?
Go search up videos on previous pizza shop owners, or you can go to your local pizza shop store. I feel like they'll be more than likely willing to maybe even hire you, show you around like what they did to get to where they are now, or even just figure it out by just doing research on how to start your own bakery or pizza shop or something that you want to do.
That's it. See, you nailed it. But now here's the issue. Very few people would put in that work. But if that's your actual dream, you're going to put in that work. And if it takes you 5, 10, 15 years before you own your own pizza shop, you're going to do it, and you're going to love it because you're learning so much. But if you go in, just think about it. So at 17, you want to own a pizza shop, right? You go down to Tony's Pizza down the street. Hey, I really want to learn the pizza business, and I want to one day own my own pizza shop. They go, how old are you? I'm 70. Wow, okay. Because now the person that started it, or the family of the person that started it, this person's story is probably going to be somewhat similar to yours. This person started his pizza shop at 22 years old, blah, 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 been around for 30 years. It happens, and it's rare that happens, and that's why I say youth is such a secret weapon. Very few people, now you might find some suckers out there going to be like, oh, get out of my store, blah, blah, blah. But that's not your person. That's not your dream environment, because your dream environment is going to be an environment that you could grow in. If you recognize that, that's what I'm saying. I think, and I'm glad you guys been hearing me say this for the past few years, create dope stuff and stay sucker free. Stay away from the suckers. They're not going to help you. They're not going to be part of your growth environment. They're not going to be part of your dream. They're going to tear you down, right? They're going to make you feel inferior. So once you recognize that, move away. You might have to go to 50 pizza shops and ask them before they say yes. But once again, right, you were studying Disney, and you'd be like, man, all those people told Disney no, 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 no. So this is just me going through my nose to find my yes. And that's why, like you said, studying past CEOs, studying past business people, studying past success stories would make a big difference. Because when you're down, that's when you're going to need that information. That's why you need that in your head. You got to look at your brain as a supercomputer. You need to be able to pull that file and go, nope, okay, there's nothing wrong here. These people just don't understand. Okay, cool, let me go to my next person. So all of that stuff starts to come together.
So when you're getting all these no's, what's like the best way to make sure that you're staying in a positive mindset so that those no's don't just tear you down and end up making you quit?
You got to remember this. In order to be successful at entrepreneurship, at business, as a leader, you have to have two things: thick skin, one, and determination, two. So once you have thick skin, that's going to allow the nose to roll off. Not saying you're not going to feel them, because for a while you're going to feel it till you really develop the thick skin, and then you'll only start hearing yes. It's kind of like Aiden, your brother. He asks for stuff all the time. He's got thick skin from birth, but he's wired to not hear no. So because if he hears no, he's like, okay, whatever, I'm going to come back and ask again. All right, whatever, you must not have heard me. I'm going to come and ask again. And he'll ask 75 times until you say yes. So that's one version of it. Another version of it is, okay, well, it's not for you right now, next. Because now you prepared. You have 50 pizza shops that you plan on going to anyway. And you know one of the 50 you're going to say yes. So you want to get through the no's quicker so you get to that yes. So it's all mindset. It's all how you approach it. If you can't ever take it personal, because that person saying no, mate, they might have been having a really bad day that day, or you don't ever know what's going on in their world. So don't take it personal. No just means next opportunity. It's never like final. And the irony is, most people don't even really say no. They no, right now I'm not interested. They don't just say no, don't ever come back to me ever again. You rarely get that. And if you get that, person's either got some serious issues or they're an absolute jerk anyway, and an ultimate sucker. You don't want to do business with them anyway. So it's that thick skin, determination, and then I like having a duck back. You know, ducks swim in water, right? Mm-hmm. You ever notice ducks don't sink? Mm-hmm. You know why?
No.
Because ducks, when water gets on the duck's back, it just becomes a bead and rolls right off. So with those no's, you got to have duck back. Let the no become a bead of water and roll right off. Because if a duck starts holding all that water, what's going to happen?
They're going to sink.
They're going to sink, right? So you got to have thick skin, determination, no's aren't final, and then duck back. And you just keep moving.
Okay, thank you. I really do appreciate that because, I know no can be hard sometimes when you feel down. So thank you.
You're welcome.
What are some books that would be good for you to be able to read to become a CEO?
First of all, you got to get your book. I like what you did there. First of all, congratulations to you on a Realistic CEO. I know your goal is to go to a whole lot of elementary schools, kindergarten, elementaries, to read that book to kids. And I know the second the book's live and everything's good to go, schools are going to be clamoring to have you. So congratulations on that. So your book, it was fun writing that with you for kids. But my favorite business book, really, I love Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because there's so much of this is mindset and the way you think. So much of it is mindset and the way you think. I love The Art of Money Getting by P.T. Barnum. It's a really fun book. I actually love, you read this when you was a kid a couple of times, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I think that's just a fun story about money. A recent book that I just was reading was $1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan. That's a really good, fun book. It breaks down like how to make money with things. It's so many good books. What I think is cool for you, which is why I think this is a trick question, because anytime I purchase my audiobooks, you automatically get my audiobooks to your iPhone too. So we read and listen to a lot of the same books. But I think reading is just so important. Another book I like is Phil Knight's book, Shoe Dog. That's a good story because you understand what he was thinking when he was building Nike, all the things he was going through. I love Sam Walton's book called Sam Walton, Made in America. He's reading telling his story, how he built Walmart. I love books of the past CEOs and present ones and it's just hearing what they went through. The guy that started Zappos, Tony Hsieh, his book Delivering Happiness was good. And then the guy who started Kinko's, Paul Orfalia, he was a struggling kid who could barely write, still managed to grow a 100-square-foot copy shop named Kinko's into a $1.5 billion company. There's tons of great books. So I either read them or the audiobooks. I love the audiobooks when is a biography or autobiography read by the author, because I feel like I'm having a conversation with Phil Knight or having a conversation with Tony Hsieh or I love those types of books.
Speaking on autobiographies by CEOs, why do you think a lot of them have similar stories but just in different environments?
That's another great question. You're on fire with these questions, bro. Because success is a language. Success is a language. So that's how, like, people are truly successful because they basically saying the same things with different products or services. Is almost like the same type journey, right? You can't fake success. That's why when you look at the people on social media and I'm this and I'm that, and you go, how'd you get that? Oh, I just posted one video and I became rich. Like, yeah, okay. This is something, what we missing? When you understand that, and that's great observation there. Now you start to understand the things that you got to learn and master to become a great CEO. But that's why I believe you see similar patterns in these people's stories, because success is a language.
Okay, thank you. I got a couple more questions to ask here. So another one that I think is a very big question that I want to know the answer to is, how can young people contribute to innovating the company of that they're working for?
Man, so you guys are you the future. You already know what's happening, what's next. So sometimes you just got to be able to communicate with the leadership of wherever you at. Just say you're working at Wendy's. You have to know how to communicate with the leadership, the right people, whether that's your manager, district manager, the store owner, and you may got to talk to multiple people. Maybe you got to go to a Wendy's conference, right? Most people won't go to the Wendy's conference, most of the workers. So no one will take them serious. But if you take your money, you find out Wendy's Con is August 25th, and I'm taking this week off because I want to go to Wendy's Con. I'm saving my money. Then you go to Wendy's Con and be like, whoa, that's so-and-so from so-and-so. And you introduce yourself and you network with these people. And you go, I work at store number 228 in Springfield. And I always see we have this, and this. I wish we could do this. Like, you got to do that. What most people would do is they'll tell their peer, or they may tell the manager who's not really ambitious about this, how to make things more efficient, and then the idea dies right there. You got to be able to put your ideas in front of the right people. Once again, the people that execute. You got to be able to put your ideas in front of the people that execute, because they're looking for them. They want them. And most people are just so lazy, and most people are so afraid to talk to people in authority that they won't even ever share that. So you got to be able to position yourself in rooms with people that actually make the decisions.
Talk about networking. What's the best way to network with people to make sure that you have the right connections where you want to go?
Find out what they have going on and find out how you can help them. That's it. It is really that simple. So if you want to meet the CEO of Mass Mutual, and just say your school has a program where kids get to go to Mass Mutual, and you get to see the CEO, and you go, oh man, thank you so much, Mr. Mass Mutual CEO, for allowing my class to be here. I just really appreciate the opportunity. He's gonna be blown away. Can I have your email? Because I want to be able to thank you once this thing is done as well. I want to stay connected with you, whatever it may be. And then he gives you his email, because he's not expecting a 70-year-old kid to ask that kind of question. And then you send him a thank you email, like you said. He said, if anything I could help you with, please let me know.
Okay. So basically just make sure that they know where you are, and just make sure that you felt welcomed, and just...
Well, not only that, but and let them know that you're there to serve. Because 9 times out of 10, when someone meets the CEO, so say Elon Musk walks through your school, majority of people are going to ask him for a Tesla. Mm-hmm. No one's going to ask him, well, how can I help you, Mr. Musk? What projects you have coming up that you need assistance with? Very few people are going to ask. So he's going to pay attention to that person more than the 700 kids asking for a Tesla. So you got to just really serve. Like, I call myself the standout truck king, not as an ego thing, but because kings serve. So how can you serve? Figure out ways to serve, and then it happens in reverse. The law of reciprocity kicks in. If you helping other people, they want to find ways to help you.
Okay, thank you. Can teenagers create a positive culture even in small groups like school clubs?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important. Being positive is so important, man. Like, it's easy to tear people down. So if you see someone doing something great, your classmate, be like, oh man, I like how you did that. That's really good. Or even someone coming with a fresh outfit. Man, I like your style, man. You always looking sharp. Always find some ways to deliver people positive energy, positive experiences. Like, that, it's just really, it starts with the mind and it comes out through the mouth. So like, once again, mindset is so important, because if you look at it and you see, man, I noticed this kid, he's always putting this work in. Let me let him know I see him. Because that kid may not have a dream environment, right? So now you may end up being someone part of that dream environment. So when they go on and do things about, how'd you do it? Oh man, it was this one kid. Mikey in my class, he always used to tell me, keep my head up no matter what. And the days I didn't want to do it, he made a difference. So shout out to him. Because you talk to any successful people, there's always 1, 2, 3 people in their lives that they have these memories of people helping them power through or giving them an opportunity, that kind of thing. So if you're doing that for kids and your peers now, and then it'll just become a part of who you are. Imagine a group of 5, 10 students or classmates that's that kind of positivity. Imagine where those people would go. So anyone could create a dream environment or a positive environment. Just do it by finding the good in people and highlighting it.
Okay. One more question about positivity. Why do you think positivity is so big? Like, why you keep on mentioning positivity in dream environments? Why is that so important to you?
Because you have to keep your imagination active. Business is very hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. Life is hard. So if you're in a difficult situation and you can't picture yourself being out of it, you're going to stay stuck. You're going to stay down. So positivity creates just a positive environment in your mind. Like I said, Napoleon Hill, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So you stay positive. You believe it's going to get better. You put the work in. And once you get the clarity, the path to how to do something, it's a done deal. So say you want to become a streamer, right? And you see people having all these views and having all these followers and making all this money. But if you can't picture the path to getting there, you won't be able to do it. The second you picture the path, okay, I need this and these kind of partnerships and this amount of this and this and this, and then boom, 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 boom. And that's how I get paid for that. And that's how I get the views. And that's how it works. Then you got the path to do it. But if you don't believe you could do that, you won't do it. But self-belief comes from a positive environment, comes from a positive mindset. It's literally the fuel that powers success.
Okay, wow. That was big. All right, got a couple more questions for you here. How can I improve my communication skills as a teenager?
Just by being aware of it and then testing it. So, for example, do me a favor, tap your head. See, that was communication. So you can test it. Based on the things you say, are people receiving the message? Are they following through the way you want? Is it clear? Is the task being done? Is my communication creating paths for execution to happen or for a project to be executed or an item to be executed? Is it being fulfilled? Just picture the game telephone. If there's 10 people that's got to hear the one thing to hit the button, is that moving through the 10 people? Or if it's just you and so, is boom, I need someone to understand this to hit the button. Is that happening? Right? Whatever that thing is. To be a better communicator, you learn that through studying. There's communication classes. You learn it through writing. The better you write, the better you communicate. There's different ways to do it. And sometimes it's difficult to communicate things. It's like in difficult situations, difficult scenarios. How do you communicate then? Practicing, but just being aware and being cognizant that communication is important. That's a big part of becoming a great communicator.
Okay, thank you. Wow.
Dad knows some stuff, man.
All right. What role do you think technology is gonna play in this generation?
I think it's everything for you guys. I always talk about you and your brother when I'm talking to people how your generation doesn't trust Google. Like you think stuff that come out of Google is a scam, and my generation thinks what comes out of Google is legit, right? And so it's kind of cool being in the middle of that shift in technology. But I think technology is going to play a huge part in you guys' day-to-day lives. I think AI is going to be incredible to you all. I think the people that master topics and actually put the work in and then couple that with AI will help you guys to be way more efficient. So many things that my generation and previous generations spend so much time having to do manually, AI is going to do that in a heartbeat. I see it where one day everyone's going to have a personal assistant, a virtual assistant. That's AI. So whatever menial task that you need to get done is going to create great execution plans. But I think the people that know how to actually execute are the ones that are going to kill it in the next few years. A lot of the plans are going to be really thorough because AI sources so much information from the internet. So just right now, you probably could ask AI how to become a pizza shop owner or how to start a pizza shop. And I promise you, AI from step 1 to step 200 will give you every step that you got to take. But the people that will be able to execute from 1 all the way to 200 and stick to it, to the good, to the bad, to the ups and downs. Those are the people going to win. But technology is going to play a major role in your life, and for the foreseeable future, it's not going anywhere. If you think about it, the iPhone, I don't even think the iPhone is 20 years old, but everything's just going to get better and better.
So, about technology, what do you think is the big difference from the technology now compared to when you first started your business?
I think everything's just getting smarter and more efficient, and a lot of the kinks are being worked out, and a lot of things that people like myself wish technology did, it does now, and you just see it growing up. It's kind of like watching you when you were a little kid. Man, I wish this kid could ride a bike, and then boom, you riding a bike. Oh man, I can't wait till my boy's gonna start playing basketball. Then we do that. Man, he's gonna graduate soon. He's about to graduate. It's like all the things that you wish happened with technology is happening. So it's pretty cool. I'm always excited by it. I think it's amazing. I think it's something to be embraced, and I think people that don't embrace it are going to be left behind.
I got just two more questions for you. The first question is, what lesson would you teach someone my age to become a successful leader?
Awesome. So great. I think it's a lot similar to being we talked about earlier, thick skin, determination, but then also to add to that is, I would say, empathy. Because you always have to remember you're leading people. And when I say empathy, that doesn't mean you should be soft or be taken advantage of, because some people hear, oh, he's an empathetic leader, they may think you're soft. No. You just want your people to know that you care about them. You care about their well-being. You see them and they doing the same thing, like how to create that positive environment. But you got to be stern too. You got to let people know, hey, listen, I care about you, what you got going on, but here's the task. We're here to do this. Let's get this task done. So it's a little bit of both. This question makes me think of John, Vermont Teddy Bear John. I know you know John. And he's one of the things he did with the Vermont Teddy Bear Company, which was named one of the best places to work in America. He took the time clocks off the wall. And the reason he did that was because most of his workers were females, and what they really cared about was their kids' safety and their kids' well-being. So he said if a mom had to leave to go pick a sick kid up from school, he didn't dock her pay. Because what would happen is, because they knew he was there for them and he understood them, what they needed, they would come back and work extra hard for him to catch up. So it is a healthy balance between understanding your people, caring for your people, making sure that they're good, but most importantly, from a business perspective, making sure business is good. Because if business isn't good, you're not making enough money to pay all your people, and you have to let people go. So at the end of the day, business is the most important thing. I would say one, and then I'll also say your people, and letting them know that you see them.
Okay, thank you. So the last question I have is, how do you balance business and work with family?
I love that question. So for me, I've ran this for years, because with Stinky Cakes, you were like 2-3 years old when I first started that, and I feel like I was horrible at balance. Everything was like work. The phone, I don't know if you remember this, but the phone would ring, because we had the business phone was the home phone at that time. The phone would ring, and you and your brother were like 2 and 3 years old, and you would be real quiet, like not a sound. And then as I matured, I was like, man, that's awful, man. My kids would hear the phone ring and they would be quiet, which at the time I needed it, but it was like, nah, that's a bit much. And then as I grew and I got more mature, and I understood that family was more important than business, but like I said in my previous answer, business has to be taken care of so we can do the family stuff. That's when I created what I call the GSD formula, the Get Stuff Done formula. So everything's done in 4 categories for me right now. First is my IPAs, or my income producing activities, the sales thing, the things that turn into money immediately. Those are number 1. Then my second category is my PIPA category, or my potential income producing activity category. So that's when I create things that lead to sales, right? So all my marketing stuff, all my lead generation stuff, all my networking stuff, those kind of things. Then my third category is the things I need to do. So those are things that I need to do to run the business. So I call that my management category. All the things I got to manage. Pay the tolls, pay to this, pay to that, run payroll, all those things that run the business. And then lastly is my things I love to do. category. So I call that in my enjoy category. That's my family time. That's taking Biscuit and Ace to walk with mom. That's going to you guys' basketball games. That's being able to just do all the other things that we do, go eat, whatever. But every day, my day is broken down like that. And I look forward to doing the things I love to do the most. So I make sure this business stuff is done by call a business. So then, boom, all the family stuff could happen. So it's probably 6 out of 7 days I get that done. It may be one day when I don't get it done, and I don't beat myself up when I don't get it done. Because I know there's going to be a day when I do 3 days worth of work and from 1 in the morning to 5 in the morning. So I don't worry about it as much. But just having that system in place, the GSD formula in place, it keeps me on track, and it's not all work.
Thanks for answering that question. 'Cause I've seen a lot of people, quote unquote, say that you have to just focus strictly on work in order to become successful. So I think that's very important to see that you have to be able to balance. So it might be a lot of work, but at the same time, you have to find that balance. So I really do appreciate that answer.
No, I thank you. And I think being a dad is the most important thing to me. I know a lot of people that are very successful, financially successful, have way more money than me. But when they go home, their kids, their spouse, the dogs, no one really likes them because they just spend all their time in that IPA category or PIPA category or things I need to do category. And they don't fill up that fourth category. So now they got all this money, but it's like a tense environment. I always thought it would be awful to build successful businesses and then you and mom and Aiden look at me like, oh, okay, well, you don't know me and I don't know you. So, okay, yeah, we got all these nice things, but who are you? You miss all my games. You never did that. I think it's got to be, and I'm not knocking people that don't have that. I'm just, because this is for future leaders, right? I hope people understand the value of family is greater than money. Money, and like I said, you have to have it to do all the things you want to do with your family, but be mindful of all 4 of those categories and be mindful of make sure you're filling up all those columns, so it makes a difference. There's a lot of people driving Lamborghinis, and the seats next to them is empty off this. And that seat's empty whether someone's sitting in it or not, if you understand what I'm saying there.
Okay, thank you for that response. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for coming on to the show. My first podcast. I was a little nervous in the beginning, but I got used to it at the end. Thank you. So it's my dad, Mychal Connolly Sr. He is a CEO of multiple businesses that are doing well. I say, at least. I would think so.
Yeah, well, you go any days without eating food?
Yeah, nah.
Thanks, Mike. You did great, man. Congratulations on your podcast. Like I said, congratulations on the book. I know you're going to do really well. I'm pulling for you. A lot of people are pulling for you. This is amazing, man. I'm super, super proud of you, and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. I really do appreciate you being my first guest because, I got comfortable. I got really used to it. So I really do appreciate that.
My man.
Thank you. And to everybody that's watching this, I really do appreciate you guys showing the love and support that I've been seeing. Even though you guys haven't really seen any content from me yet, I really do appreciate the support that I've been getting these past couple months and weeks. I seen the stuff that y'all been talking about. So I really do appreciate it. So thank you. And if you want to be interviewed by me, my email is myke@realisticco.com. Thank you for watching.